Hi, this is Adele from Naked Divorce. I wanted to talk about something that a lot of clients always complain about, which is why is it that I'm the one that's going through the divorce and yet I'm the person that's emotionally supporting everyone? This, unfortunately, is quite a common thing. And we see it over and over again in situations when, a person is used to being the strong one or the supportive one or the rock to other people within their social circles. And when you are set up like that as a person where perhaps you're the one that's always the stable one or the rock or the supportive one, being suddenly in the position where you're going through something tough, that's a huge adjustment. You've kind of climbed out of a box that everybody had allocated for you, and now you're suddenly the one that's needing support. A lot of people might not actually really know what to do with you when that happens. So if you're accustomed to taking care of other people, that can definitely be why you're finding that suddenly you're divorced, you're supporting everybody emotionally. The second thing is maybe you have a desire to kind of keep the peace or not have any drama. So actually supporting other people, it also is a way for you to take the focus away from yourself and avoid personal pain over here. If you're running around making sure everyone else is fine, you don't actually need to face your own grief, process your own grief, and go through that kind of journey yourself because you're actually just focused over there on how everyone else is doing. The next thing is that you might just generally in life always have this kind of sense of responsibility and looking after people. And that sense of responsibility even extends when you're going through something yourself, is that your instinct is to always worry about how everybody else is doing. But you need to be careful of that because over focusing on how everyone else is dealing with your particular trauma, it's a diversion tactic. It's actually something we call a short-term emotion avoidance tactic. And too many steets, as it were, can mean that you are delaying your own kind of grieving process and allowing yourself the space and the time to personally grieve what's happened. And the other reason could just genuinely be that all your relationships are set up in a kind of one-way system where you really actually, when you're in need, have a genuine lack of support from other people. That's a real sad one. And I see that a lot with clients who are very, very giving, very kind, always the rock, always the strong one in all these situations. And then they find when they go through trauma that they're really alone and really isolated and there's nobody there for them. And I kind of would almost say that divorce, it's sometimes it's not even a shock for a lot of people that go through divorce. And sometimes it's not even a surprise. It's like it's not a shock, it's not a surprise, and they're not actually that traumatized by the divorce itself. What actually really traumatizes them is just feeling completely alone, completely isolated, like a leper, like there's something really wrong with them, like they failed at something and they're kind of like infected with some disease now that nobody can kind of touch. And that feeling of shame and failure and the spiral that's associated to that. And then the loss of identity, like who am I now? Like that loss of self, that lack of support, that complete feeling of failure is what makes divorce one of the most difficult traumas to go through. And if you find yourself staring at this experience and you're completely alone, you're not alone. Because that entire experience that you're having is exactly what people experience when they go through this trauma. So shame is often melted and healed in the company and the experience of sharing with others. And I think getting support during this time is really, really crucial. Be careful, though, of group support because sometimes I tried, when I went through a divorce, I tried a group therapy session and there was unfortunately somebody that completely dominated every session and did all the talking, and that wasn't helpful. And she was a bit of a drama queen. And it's kind of luck of the draw whether you get someone like that in a group dynamic. And it doesn't necessarily mean that everybody's healing journey gets prioritized, but making sure that there's somebody that can bear witness for what you're going through and be supportive and loving and caring as you're going through that. and do the kind of, that kind of scaffolding that you need during this crucial time, it is vital, particularly when you don't feel like you're getting that support within your community. Hope that helps.